perhaps the best example of that. In Holland, I mean, my friend Ajax here, we mourned together the Holland-Russia game 2 years ago. In Holland, everybody supports the national team, and the viewing figures are astonishing. I mean, when Holland lost to Brazil in the '98 semi-final of the World Cup, the official figure was that 75% of the Dutch population watched the game, which I regard as scarcely incredible. I think must be wrong, but that's the official figure. The Super Bowl, by contrast, is watched by 1/3 of all Americans. But anyway, the viewing figures in Holland are astonishing. The reason is that when Holland play, it's not just about winning, it's very much about how we play. And when in football I feel Dutch. How we play is our identity being shown to the world. And in England, it doesn't really work, because the national team is embarrassing, the fans are horrible, and so when the English see the national team, they see everything that they don't like about their country usually. When the Dutch see the national team, it's sort of the perfect image of Holland at its best. And so yeah, the identity is, for me as well, as somebody who's not Dutch, is 100%.
The United States?
No, I think on the World Cup level, it's tough to compare with the club, because the club, you're living it every day. Even during the off-season, you're living your club. I think, though, when it comes to game day, I think Dave is going to be stuck in front of his television and one of the millions of Englishmen watching England play. I'm sure you're supporting them, maybe not with the same zeal in the lead-up that you've done Liverpool. And with US, I think it's the same way. We show up on game day. It's not like, during the 4 years in between World Cups where every day we're wearing our US national team colors. I think just like any other international fan, we show up on the day of the game and we show our national colors, but nothing to compare with the club patch. Nothing.
Well, England and the US, of course, are playing on June 12th. It's a Saturday. Is that right? I got that right.
Sunday, yeah.
It's a Saturday afternoon, so I'm sure there'll be some jerseys out, both stripes. So, yes.
I'm glad you brought up the World Cup. Moving forward with the World Cup, I wanted to get all of your opinions on the philosophy between FIFA and moving forward with technology. Because I think that's a lot of thing American fans, especially if they also have like American football, where we can have replays and we can change, the call. I think a lot of Americans are frustrated when they see just blatantly bad calls and are concerned about now with the World Cup and it meaning so much that they're going to get the wrong calls because they're kind of stuck in this old system.
Want me to start? Well, I'll start with one way. On Thursday, actually, the kicking and screening event on Thursday night is about referees. And we will be discussing video technology and whether it is viable or whether it is wanted or desired and how it would change the game. Saying that, I don't think the U.S. is not going to win the World Cup because of a call.
I'm not talking about the U.S., I'm just talking about the whole world seeing a really bad call and then having questions about the veracity of the game when that call stands. And I'm not just talking about the USA, I'm talking about all of them.
Okay.
Simon, I'm going to let you take that. What you say is completely true, and I was at the France-Ireland game where he made the handball, and none of us saw it. And everybody, this being 2009, got text messages from friends at home, and so in the subway afterwards, it was French fans apologising in very bad English to Irish fans, the French national shame, etc. But I think that the thing about soccer, and the reason why they're very hesitant, is this product works, if you want to see it as a product. I hate to sound like a middle-class corporateur, but this is the most successful product probably in retail, and so you mess with it at your peril, and so I think they're very hesitant to go there. I think there'll be very slow changes.
Would you like to see video technology?
I'd love to see, especially the goal line thing. That's, it's gone beyond a joke now, and it's UEFA and FIFA to me. They've had their heads in the sand for years over this issue, and I think it's been proven because sometimes on the sidelines, you've got monitors showing it. So the ref, you see the managers and the coaches looking at it. So if they can see it, why can't they just introduce that, into the game itself? It's bizarre. I mean, the game's over 100 years old now, and that rule to me is over 100 years old. It's ridiculous. It should be sorted out right away.
Soccer's not winning or losing fans based on whether the calls are right on the field, so it's a non-factor.
Any more other questions? Yes.
Yeah, I wonder what the panel thinks about the ownership of Liverpool FC by Tom Hicks and George Gillett. Don't they think that perhaps that this kind of multi-millionaire corporate ownership is ruining local clubs, and that it would be better if they were owned by the fans?
Great show. I mean, to be honest, 2 years ago when Gillette and Hicks took over, it was all there. There was fanfares and everything seemed rosy. And little did we know that the previous owners of the club, they should have done due diligence, they should have made them sign all sorts, but they told them that they wouldn't borrow against the club, and they've just gone against that. So we found ourselves over $300 million in debt now, and it's very dangerous, it's scary actually. You know, we all know the way Leeds United went in the past, and it worries you, you know, because these guys, I mean, Hicks has just said he wants 800 million for it, you know, 800 million, it's bizarre. And as a Liverpool fan, we're all trying to sort of put it to the back of our minds, but you know, it's there looming in the distance, and it's really frightening. You know, Hicks and Gillette are just basically money people. And Manchester United, you know, they're even bigger debt than Liverpool, but because they're successful, they're getting away with it at the moment. But if they finish outside the top four, Man United, they'll be falling from grace as well. So these money people, I think there should be some sort of body that moves in and stops this happening.
Well, Simon, you've studied a lot of the ownership issues and how that kind of works. What do you think about foreign ownership?
As a Financial Times journalist, representative of free capitalism, I totally agree with Dave. People like Hicks and Gillette should be stopped from owning football clubs, not because they're foreigners, but because the Football Association used to have a rule that you, as a director, could not profit financially from your football club. The idea was the club is about football, about winning, and it's not for you to take money out of it, because the club doesn't belong to you, it belongs to people like Dave. And so, if you're an American who wants to buy Liverpool because you like Liverpool, fine, fantastic. But you can't take money out of Liverpool. You can't own it for profit. And all the FA needs to do is restore its rule of 30 years ago. I think what we need to do is see soccer clubs not as Shell or BP, but as the British Museum or the Tate Modern or a local museum. They're there to serve the community, and you as the owner have to respect that.
Great show. Great show.
Hi, the question for Dave especially. You know, I've been supporting Liverpool for almost 15 years now, and back in the day when, even before internet, the connections, the exposure, SoccerNet, before it was bought by ESPN. Like you said before, now it's a new generation of supporters. Now it's ESPN bought the rights to Premiership now, and more supporters are popping up everywhere. But it's almost like you're now with a proud city like Liverpool. And like you said, with influx of foreign supporters. How is that for you? I mean, how is that for the citizens of Liverpool with much more exposure coming in? Every time I go, I get Delta taxi cab drivers, and it's kind of awkward drives in the stadium, but in a sense, it's the inevitability, isn't it? Every club, internationally. So, as homegrown, home based, how do you approach that? How do you approach the future of sport football?
So the question is mainly actually directed to Dave, and it's asking how does the local community deal with the larger exposure? If I'm getting this right.
It's the inevitability now.
The inevitability of the larger exposure coming in and sort of taking over as well in this town. That your Liverpool club is now this international commodity.
I mean, I think the prime example of this was happened in 2007 in Athens, and like Liverpool fans are really tolerant, believe me, because it hasn't just happened overnight. It's been a gradual thing from the 1970s, and it's got more and more the out-of-town fans. But in 2007 in Athens, we went over there, and we had 20,000 tickets, and we had 70,000 fans over there from all over the world. And like, what happened then? All the local fans, they were sort of shut out, and they didn't get tickets, and that's where it becomes an issue. When the local fans are being squeezed out because they know that the fans from out of town are going to come in and buy the replica shares, they're going to spend money in the club shops, and they do get priority sometimes over the locals, and that's the only time it becomes an issue. But it's, obviously you've been there, you might have bumped into an Evertonian taxi driver, but
every time. Taxi driver,
But I mean, they're always going to give us stick, that's just rivalry and local banter, but believe me, I bet you've never had any grief off any Liverpool fans, and that's the main thing. We are receptive, and as I said before, if you're going to be one of the best clubs in the world, you've got to accept that you're going to have fans from all over the world. But Athens was a terrible example of you know, it was just awful. You know, you had 70,000 people trying to get into the stadium. It was ridiculous. You know, and you want to go. You know, there's no way you're not going to be there. But like, so all the fans that didn't have tickets went. You know, so I'm hoping that they get them on the table. That's the only time it becomes an issue when there's a big major final on and the locals don't get tickets.
Well, we will move on from a couple of years earlier from Athens and go to Istanbul. We have about 15 minutes until the films start. I would like to thank all of our panelists, Simon Borg, Dave Kirby, Simon Kuper. Thank you everybody for coming out for this. And there are 2 theaters, so let's move our way toward the theaters as they fill up. And thanks very much.